Hello, friends, and welcome into NBA Now. A happy 4th of July to everyone watching. We've got the latest on the association, from free agency rumors to, of course, plenty of trade rumors out there as NBA free agency chugs along. Here's the latest on Kevin Durant. His trade market is slow to emerge, which maybe makes some sense given the likely massive offer it would require a team to give to Brooklyn to acquire one of the top 2, 3, worst case 5 NBA players available right now. There's also complications we'll get into involving Ben Simmons, his presence, and I'm just going to call it the weird aspect of the rookie extension clause that only have one player on each team, so that rules out a lot of notable players who would qualify for that. It complicates things quite a bit, plus the high asking price. Here's what Woj said this morning on a Durant trade. Quote, "The market is still taking shape. I think it's incumbent on some of the other teams to be creative and start bringing to Brooklyn ideas, going out and seeing if they can get players and picks that would put the kind of package together it would take to land Kevin Durant." Now, Durant is one of the best players in the NBA, even if maybe not the most mentally tough player out there, not to be too mean, but this is an almost 30-point per game scorer, offers you rebounding, assists, defense, scoring. He can do all of it. Much has been made of the two reported preferred destinations, the Miami Heat and the Phoenix Suns, but the early reports so far have run into problems of the offer it would take from Miami, from Phoenix, to get Durant is more in terms of what those teams would give up than Durant wants them to give up. He wants to play with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, etc. in Miami, and Devin Booker and others in Phoenix. Well, if you're getting Kevin Durant in a trade with 4 years left on his deal, you kind of need to give up one of those premier players. So that makes things complicated to say the least, and that is why Woj mentioned potentially bringing in a third team to help, or even a fourth team maybe, to help facilitate potential trade options. Here are the updated odds on where Kevin Durant will play this year. The Suns are still the betting favorite because Kevin Durant, just like he did when he went to Golden State, wants to join the best team on paper. Yeah, makes sense, right? The Raptors are actually second, and that one makes a lot of sense between OG, Pascal Siakam, and Scotty Barnes plus draft picks. Toronto can actually put together a pretty good offer that wouldn't require a ton of extra help from other teams to add assets to a deal from Brooklyn's standpoint. Brooklyn is still third. I'm old enough to remember, I don't know if you are, Producer Coop, when Kobe Bryant demanded a trade from the Lakers and then ended up not being traded. So that still was a possibility. Then Miami and Chicago plus 1,000, a pretty big long shot at this point. So who do you think will end up trading for Kevin Durant? I kind of lean towards the Raptors. They're the easiest, and it would be a repeat of the Kawhi situation, which is always kind of funny. But I want to hear from you guys. Make your predictions for me right now in the comments section. The Golden State Warriors can also not totally be ruled out of a Kevin Durant trade. There was the earlier report this week that the Warriors are open, or I guess last week technically, that the Warriors are open to trading for Kevin Durant. And although a reunion is still considered unlikely, it has also been reported that the Warriors stars have spoken to Kevin Durant about a potential reunion, which would be quite the storyline. If we're being honest, the NBA is just soap operas for dudes. That's all it is. It's just constant chaos and drama. Here's what The Athletic recently said. The Warriors superstars have been in conversations with Durant. In addition to catching up, the Hall of Fame-bound peers did entertain the idea of a reunion. It was mostly about the stunning nature of it even being possible. The idea of them playing together had seemed impossible when Durant left in free agency back in 2019. It isn't lost on them how life has contrived an opportunity for them to come full circle. They see it like everyone else and talked about it like everyone else. I would not view that as a likely outcome, but here we are, where it is a non-zero chance that the Warriors end up with Kevin Durant again and coming off of the title. And just the pure chaos of the whole situation there. So Warriors fans, I know some of you don't want KD, and I get it with the way things ended. I understand. But do you want them to? This is your chance to sound off for me in the comment section. If you're not a Warriors fan, probably typing in no because of parity. But sound off. Why for yes and for no? Do you want the Warriors to trade for Kevin Durant? The Athletic also mentioned this on the trade potential offers. The Warriors could undoubtedly put together one of the best packages for a Durant trade. And for a front office known for unearthing every stone, they'd have to vet the chance to add Durant. With that said, according to multiple sources in the Warriors organization, a reunion is highly unlikely. Nothing about the last 3 years suggests the Warriors are willing to pay the price for a KD return. That price is likely, and reportedly, an all-star caliber player, young talent, and a heap of draft picks. A potential idea I've seen floated is the Warriors bring back Durant, the Nets get Wiggins, James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, and first-round picks in some capacity. The problem with this idea is the previously mentioned awkwardness of the rookie extension. Ben Simmons counts on that. Andrew Wiggins would as well, which makes it difficult. You have to bring in a third team, or you'd have to move a big-time contract like Draymond Green or Klay Thompson, which defeats the purpose of adding Durant. So possible, yes. Unlikely is still, I think, the path to pursue, or view, I should say, for Golden State. NBA Now is on Rumble beyond YouTube here. We offered free and uncensored content. That, by the way, you can listen to podcast style on your phone. Go get it today. You can follow us for free, rumble.com/NBA Now. We are trying to grow to platforms you guys use. It's free to follow and download, so help us out. Go over there, rumble.com/NBA Now. The Kyrie Irving trade rumors continue for the Los Angeles Lakers, although potentially not as close to a deal as might have been reported by others over at ESPN. Here's the latest per Woj, because it is Woj after all. The Lakers are not quite all the way there yet. Quote, the Lakers have yet, I'm told, to be aggressive in trying to put a deal together to get him from Brooklyn. That may come, that may evolve with time. But so far, right now, there's no traction really on deals with either Irving or Kevin Durant. They'll develop over time. Now, that does kind of fly in the face of the Mark Spears report, which we'll mention again in a little bit. But I do think this is true. I think the trade value of Kyrie Irving is at an absolute all-time low, and it is almost a bordering on a negative asset, which is insane to think about when Kyrie is out there, which, you know, he's not always out there. Still an awesome basketball player. One of the ideas floated out there right now, it was Mark J. Spears who mentioned this. The Nets would get Russell Westbrook and the Lakers would get Kyrie Irving. They are pushing for Seth Curry as opposed to Joe Harris, who apparently the Nets are trying to shed off the remaining 2 years of his contract, which, if I were the Lakers and I could get Kyrie Irving and Joe Harris for Russell Westbrook, I would have already done that deal, because I actually think Joe Harris is a great fit in LA. Yeah, he's got 2 more years left on his deal, and yeah, he can't be a ball-dominant piece for you, but you've got LeBron and Kyrie for that. You don't need a ball-dominant player. Maybe Kyrie's worried about playing on the West Coast since that's closer to the end of the earth. I'm not really sure, but I think that Irving is a logical fit for the Lakers because they are desperate. The Russell Westbrook experiment did not go very well. There is, of course, plenty of risk involved with Kyrie Irving, but a potential fit in Los Angeles, I actually think makes more sense than most destinations because, again, look at what he's done the past 3 years. The games played is a huge factor, but this is a 27-point-per-game option who's going to be able to be a point guard for you and work off ball. We know he works with LeBron. I think he'd work really well with Anthony Davis if he's locked in. Risk-reward? Absolutely. For LA, I think it's worth it. So what do you guys think? Who will end up trading for Kyrie Irving? Make your predictions for me right now in the comments section. We've got all the NBA free agency coverage you could possibly want right here at Chat Sports. Yeah, we talked about trades today. That's kind of how free agency works in the NBA. There's always trades out there, always trade rumors are blowing. So if you want consistent updates on everything going on around the association, hit that big red button right now. Colin Sexton, if you rank the remaining NBA free agents left, if he's not number 1, he's probably number 2. There are not that many top-tier guys left, and I do think the Kevin Durant trade situation is putting a hold on notable players like Sexton. There was a report that the Mavs and Sexton were gonna try to work out a deal, and now another one coming out of Cleveland that remains unlikely, in large part due to a potential sign and trade return for the Cavs, as Sexton is an RFA. Here's the report from Chris Fedor. Quote, the Dallas Mavericks have been rumored as a team that may have interest because they lost Jalen Brunson. They don't have the cap space. So it would have to be a sign and trade worked out with the Cavs. And I'm told the Cavs are not very attracted to any of the pieces that Dallas would be willing to send back to them in a potential sign and trade. I actually do love the fit of Sexton in Dallas as a maybe not quite the same distributor as Jalen Brunson, but could fill a similar-ish role as a potential piece alongside Luka as the Mavs try like hell to continue to build around their second version of European superstar. Adding Sexton with Christian Wood after losing Brunson, that's almost, I mean, if we're not including Wood, I could make an argument maybe Sexton's better than Jalen Brunson. Maybe Mavs fans would agree because, they're mad at Brunson. But this is a pretty promising lineup. It's not quite there yet, but they've got a lot of pieces, and not including, of course, JaVale McGee, who's on the bench, but wouldn't be shocked if they started him alongside Christian Wood, at least early on in games. So some trade ideas, and this is why the Cavs are like, I don't know about that one. Davis Bertans, Josh Green, a first-round pick. The first is somewhat intriguing, but that's going to be in the 20s. Josh Green is not that good. And Bertans, who I liked his last year, or second to last year, I should say, with the Wizards, forgot how to shoot a basketball. So if he's not shooting threes, he doesn't bring you anything. Another trade idea, which maybe is a little bit more appealing, is Tim Hardaway Jr. He's also coming off injuries, and I would wonder if at that point the Cavs might just say, you know what, if we're going to spend big money, we should just pick the young guy who we've grown in our own organization. Now, would you sign Colin Sexton? Make your prediction, not your predictions, give me your answers in the comments section. S for sign, P for pass. If you're not a Mavs fan, you can still answer based on your favorite team. Sound off, S or P. Quickly now on some NBA free agency updates. Very quiet as of late, but here are the latest moves. Cody Martin has re-signed with the Charlotte Hornets on a 4-year, $32 million deal. Did he get a bit bigger of a bag expected because of Miles Bridges? Maybe that's a whole different conversation, though, because, Miles Bridges, not a good person. All right, former first-round pick, who I actually liked quite a bit coming out, Josh Okogie, has signed with the Phoenix Suns. 1-year deal. We don't know the details. Might be close to the vet minimum. After many rumors on he's going to go play with the Mavs at long last, Goran Dragic has actually signed with the Chicago Bulls, 1-year, $2.9 million to be a backup guard. And the only move so far today, at least as we film this, Serge Ibaka has re-signed with the Milwaukee Bucks, a 1-year deal. Full details not yet known, which always means it's going to be super cheap.